What's going on, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Hit the like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member. Also, hit them notifications so that you're able to get all of my content, all of my videos. I want to give a shout out to the whole entire Lions Den, basketball, and boxing communities. We're not talking about neither one. We're not talking about sports. We're not talking about entertainment. What we are talking about is real life. And this is Straight Gems. Um, I want to say this is part four. Okay. Um, and as you know, with Straight Gems, what I am doing is I'm throwing some jewels at you to help you in everyday life in some areas in which, uh, some people may be struggling at. Okay. Um, Look, we really gotta understand something, and I don't think I don't think that a lot of people really do uh, take into account the change that has happened within this country, and really it's happening really all over the world. But when you look at it from a standpoint of the United States of America, in which we live in, um, we got to understand something, about being on the job and uh, working in whatever field that you're in. What's up, Brown Sugar? I see you in here. Um, Listen, with the influx of um, different different people that are coming in terms of third world countries internationally that are coming in, we got to realize that you, when you're on the job, those people that are coming in that are willing to work just as hard as you, just as fast as you, not call in at all. It doesn't matter if they have a family event or any of that stuff. Even, sad to say, some tragedy could have taken place with them. They're still not going to call in. And on top of that, their willingness to be a yes man or a yes woman on the job or whatever, believe it or not, they're gonna have that extra edge on you. Now, what I'm here to do is I'm here to drop some gems on you on how you can stay competitive. Okay. Now, first and foremost, you got to have your mind right. When you're on the job, you it's not just knowing more than anybody or being more intelligent. Of course, that does help. What's up with it, Bruce Gas? I see you in there. Shouts out to the brother Bruce Gas. Make sure y'all go sub to Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz and More. Salute to you, man. Um, Basically, you want to have your mind right in terms of being motivated. You shouldn't need anybody to motivate you uh, to go clock in and go work. You shouldn't need anybody to motivate you to achieve a goal while you're on the job, and um, make sure that you have some sort of end game. If you're working a job, usually your end game should be either to eventually start your own, own your own business, ownership, to move up within the company so you can actually take it over, or in a lot of cases to retire. Okay, you got to have some sort of end game because you pretty much you'll be spinning your wheels like a gerbil in a cage. So that's one of the ways you got to have your mind right on what you want to do. Um, Another thing is you do want to remain competitive with the next person, but don't do it in a way that is cutthroat or snakish or anything like that. And what I'm talking about is okay, if there's a person, what's up with it, Paul? I see you in the building. Yeah, discipline and motivation. See, you have to be able to. There's a fine line in doing that. Like for instance, okay, some people they'll be competitive by stepping on that other person's toes, or like getting that person in trouble, or going behind their back and telling the boss about, oh well, you know what, I saw straight. He was out at the bar the other night, and he was doing it. That right there, that's being conniving. You don't want to do it that way. Instead, if okay, this is why a lot of people complain about the international people that come over here and they take the jobs, right? They take our jobs. Okay, while you have two individuals there that come to work or whatever, that person thinks that their job is secure. Um, they think that their job is, y- you know, uh, is they take it for granted pretty much. While they're sitting up there, they're partying. They're coming in hungover from the job. Sometimes they decide not to show up, but they might be in a high position. But meanwhile, you got this other person that comes in from work, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do none of that. Not that that has anything to do with it, but pretty much they're always there. They're there early, working just as hard as the other individual. When the other individual is there, they're half-assing it. They're not giving 100%. They're making a whole bunch of mistakes. Um, they're being combative with not only other employees, but they also being combative with management or whatever. But meanwhile, you got this other guy that's taking on a particular job that the other guy won't do. Well, that's also being competitive too. And the other guy doesn't need to talk, doesn't need to say anything. They're just doing what you won't do. Well, that's being competitive. Then that's what you have to do. Really, you should honestly just keep your mouth shut while you at the job. Unless, I mean, don't tolerate no disrespect now. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much don't try to make any friends or anything like that, and remain competitive, because believe it or not, those people are these people are always there. A lot of them are out to get you. Yeah, I know, brown sugar. I know. You said it all comes down to the culture. Seems some nasty. Some people really do be snakes like that. Yeah, they are. Um, Listen. Yo, what's up, Stephen Green? I see you in the building, man. Yeah, always keep your head up, man. You see, the thing about it is what you have to do, and that's why I'm here to tell you that if we had the same mentality, okay, like brown sugar, right? She she's a for those of y'all that don't know, she's an entrepreneur herself. She's her own boss, but at the same time, she has to do what's necessary, you know, on another regular job or whatever. But she is both mentally and as well as physically her own boss. All right, that's the type of mentality that you have to have. I don't mean to put the Queen Brown Sugar on the spot, but if you if you had that type of mentality, if most people had the mentality that she had, then a lot of you will will be able to succeed on the job. See, a lot of us, what we do is we complain. Beggars can't be choosers, and believe it or not, you are at the mercy of those people. That's on the physical standpoint, but on a mental standpoint, you always got to have in your mind that they're not better than you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is better than you, but that's what you got to have in your mind. Whereas on the exterior, just play them and beat them at their own game, and I guarantee you it'll work. And what I'm talking about is, okay, for instance, there might be some assignments that you really truly might not want to do. Might be some paperwork. You probably got a stack of like 100 sheets. They got to be finished before the day. You know, and damn well you're not gonna be able to get off in time or whatever. Get it done regardless or whatever. Don't complain about it. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your mouth shut. But all around, you need to strategize about. You have to have an exit plan to get up out of there. You have to have an exit plan. If you don't have an exit plan, if you don't have a backup plan, if you only got a plan A through D, I'm sorry for you, that's not going to work. You got to have the alphabet, and you got to have the numerics with it too. And what I'm talking about is have a plan A through Z and a plan 1 through 100. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, you got to be prepared, but also remain competitive and do your best job too. And you have to give them the upper hand to the point where you can say, "Hey, look, put in your 2 weeks notice." Matter of fact, if you really feeling that way, you could be so daggone competitive. You could put it. You could put in a 60-day notice. You could put in a 90-day notice, letting them know, like, look, you know what I'm saying. And if you put in a 90, see, a lot of people don't know that. You could put in a 90-day notice, 60-day notice. It don't have to be no 2 weeks notice, because guess what? That if you're a good asset to that company, guess what? They'll be like, hey, you know what, Brown Sugar, uh, don't put in that 90-day notice. You know what? You're such a good asset to this company. We're gonna give you the new position. On top of that, nigga, we're gonna give you a $2 raise or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, oh snap, we about to lose a great asset to the company in brown sugar. We need brown sugar. Brown sugar brings an element that nobody else here brings. She's bringing energy. She brings intelligence. She brings personality. And on top of that, she brings a work grit that is very unmatched. You know what I'm saying? What's up with it, Thomas? Only way to fool a fool is to make them think that they're fooling you. Yeah, that's facts. Um, but see, the thing about it is, what we have to understand, um, you you have to make sure that they know that you're more of an asset than a liability. So if they try to cut you off, if they try to sit there and they try to say, oh, you know what, um, we're gonna get rid of it, they have to think. They got to think twice before they try to get rid of you or anything like that. But you have to remain competitive. That's just really, you're supposed to remain competitive in all aspects of life, but you definitely want to maintain your competitiveness when you're on a job, because it's not getting any easier. A lot of jobs right now are hard to come by. A lot of jobs right now, everybody is not going to be so quick to give up their job. It doesn't matter if they're working at McDonald's. And you can't even say, listen, it used to be a time where you say, oh, man, well, man, he just working McDonald's. Shoot, there's a lot of people that would love to work at McDonald's. There's a lot of people that would love to work at Jack and the Crack. There's a lot of people that would love to work at churches, fast food in general. You know why? Because it used to be a time where fast food places will hire you right on the spot. It's not like that anymore. They're even getting competitive at fast food. They're getting competitive. They gotta have, because I used to work fast food job once upon a time. What you got to do now at this fast food job, if the drive time, like in terms of the drive through times, if that's not maintaining at a certain level, or they're not reaching their goal, guess what? They're going to try to make some changes. If they're not getting that food out fast enough at the counter, guess what? They're going to try to maintain, be competitive. They're going to try to make some changes. If the fries ain't, up to standard, they're getting a lot of complaints and stuff like that, guess what? They're going to replace that person. If the burgers are coming out, like how people don't want it or something like that, and the, general food and stuff like that, guess what? They're going to try to make some changes or whatever. It used to be a time when they'll stay with it for a year, 2, 3 years and all this other stuff, stick with the complaints and stuff. Nah, they're not doing that no more. They're not doing that no more. They're not doing any of that. What they're doing, they're bringing in people that are going to get it done. If you complain, they're gonna replace you. That's just the bottom line, because they got somebody right behind you that is willing to do harder work, no complaints, don't get tired or anything like that. They're looking basically for that robot before their last resort is a robot. Even though that they're going to turn in all of this into a robot anyways. You will see. We already see it happening. AI taking over fast food places. AI in the warehouses and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, kiosk and app. They don't even want to come to the counter no more. That's facts, Ted. They don't want to come to the counter no more and take your order or any of that no more, because they expect you to get that done. The only thing they're going to be doing is back there cooking the food and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we already see it happen. It's happening in banks. It's happening in fast food, stuff like that. You just have people back there doing what's necessary. Matter of fact, they don't they don't even want people coming into the bank like that. But they, of course, they have to, especially when it comes to setting up an account or something like that. Talking to a banker about opening up an account for yourself or the family, or in case you need a loan or something like that. But anyway, yeah, you definitely want to maintain competitiveness on the job, because that person that you're talking to, that person that's working right next to you, they're trying to take your spot. They know, okay, well, yeah, you know what, Ted, he's been on the job, about 3 years. He's sitting there disgruntled and complaining and everything like that. Guess what? That person is probably just listening to everything that you say and everything, and they're saying they're going to do the opposite. And then guess what? They're going to eventually take your position. You understand? So you have to remain competitive. If you've been on the job for, 5 years, it's a pretty good job and everything like that. Still remain competitive. Don't get relaxed. You don't want to get relaxed with anything you do. That's basically what it is. Don't get relaxed. Don't get lazy. Don't be so sure of yourself that nobody else can replace you, because it is every day there's a new breed, new crop of individuals that are coming in. You know what I'm saying? You got to, where you used to be a part of that generation that was, okay, let's say when the young working age, okay. Sometimes some states, of course, allow you to work at like 15. Okay, so let's say 15, around that 15 to 18, around that 15 to 18 age. Okay, they, you know, they're figuring out life. Some of them not even taking it serious and everything. Then around that, I would say 18, between 18 and 24, you have some people that are truly focused on what they want to do, and then you have the ones that are, okay, they're just using this just to get by or whatever. Then around like 24, I would say about 24 to about 30, 35. Let's say about 24 to 30. Um, then they got to get really serious about moving up and everything, and being like making their place in the company. And then from 35 and up, then they people already expect you to know this and to do this and to do that or whatever. And a lot of people really, if a company takes a chance on you, you're gonna have to be really good, and you can't be set in your ways, because they already, like, when they hire somebody that's in their 40s or in their late 30s or whatever, they already are looking at you as if you're set in your ways, and your habits aren't gonna change. That's that's my advice to you. Uh, just to remain competitive at your job. Don't get relaxed. Don't get lazy, because if you do that, um, more than likely you're not going to have one at the end of the day. But if you remain competitive, you're working just as hard as you were on day one, on day one on the job, till day 1,000. I guarantee you, it'll work. But if you come in there and you start you have some sort of drop off or some slippage, trust me, your your bosses are going to see it. And look, like I said, I always preach ownership. Have an end game. Be your own boss eventually. Go for ownership, man. Go for moving up. Even really, just if you move up in the company, then you should be like, okay, well, if I could run this company, I could run any company. That's what your mentality should be. So I hope this helps, man. This is Straight Gems. Make sure you like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notifications too, so that you're notified. Straight to the point. Shouts out to the whole entire Lions Den basketball and boxing community. Until then, I'm gone.